So, according to ancient myth, Buggy is a dung beetle. No, I'm serious, and we can prove it. Because Buggy is doing one thing over and over for the entire series. He's pushing the future Pirate King into place against his own will as he fails upwards. Like the inversed fool. And if you know Egyptian mythology, this is not a joke. This is the Khepri, a dung beetle. And the red sun that the Khepri pushes is literally Buggy's nose. In Egyptian myth, Khepri is not the sun god. Khepri is the mechanism of dawn. The scarab that pushes the sun into the sky each morning so the world keeps turning. Khepri doesn't rule or shine, but it does get credit. Khepri makes sure that the sun rises. Now look at Buggy's entire life. Buggy doesn't want destiny, he doesn't want leadership, he doesn't want the responsibility of anything, but wherever he goes, history moves with him. He fails upwards so violently it stops feeling like comedy and starts feeling like prophecy. And every single time Buggy fails, the world somehow shifts 1 inch closer to Luffy's throne. Buggy is the scarab. He pushes the sun into place. And with Buggy's name, Oda has made this very literal, because the sun he pushes is a red sphere on his face, a clown's nose as a sun's disk. Alabasta is Oda waving a gigantic Jolly Roger and saying, this is the mythology that you should be thinking in. The Poneglyphs can be seen as ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. An ancient civilization, a sacred language, history recorded in stone, truth made unreadable to the modern world, controlled by a global power that deletes history. Alabasta is a desert kingdom, with a royal bloodline protecting an ancient truth. Crocodile staging a coup and hijacking the lifeblood of the country. It's Egypt with a pirate skin. So if Alabasta is Egypt, the royal family matters more than we thought, which brings us to the name that basically screams at you, Nefertari. This is not subtle. Let's take a look at Nefertiti, Akhenaten, and why Lily is terrifying. I know we're still talking about Buggy being a dung beetle, but this is part of the glue, trust me. According to Egyptian history, Nefertiti lived during one of the wildest political ruptures in Egyptian history. Her partner, Akhenaten, tried to do something insane. He didn't just prefer a sun god, he attempted a full spiritual regime change. He elevates Aten, the sun disk, above everything. He weakens the old priesthood. He restructures authority around a single true divine concept. It wasn't just about religion, it was politics. Because when you control the gods, you control the people. And Nefertiti was not a background character. She appears in art near equal to the king. She performs rituals, she wields authority. Some scholars even argue she may have ruled after Akhenaten in some form. And then suddenly the records go weird. She fades, names get erased, images get defaced, history snaps back to the old order. Not because it was forgotten, but because it was removed. Now you can see why Nefertari Lily is such a loaded character. One Piece gives us this exact same structure. A world government formed by 20 kingdoms. They win, they rewrite history, and they delete the forbidden truth related to the sun. And then one royal line commits the ultimate crime, not rebellion, but refusal. Nefertari Lily leaves with her nation. She does not stay on the throne in Mary-Joie. She does not become a celestial dragon. She walks away from godhood. Lily leaving is the original crack in the world government, and this is why her name survived as a ghost in history and haunts Emu. Now we look at Osiris, his wife Isis, and why Buggy's fruit is not a joke. Osiris is betrayed, sealed in a chest, and thrown into the sea. Tell me this doesn't sound like a Davy Jones pirate myth. A cursed chest, a god at the bottom of the sea. Osiris is found again by Set, chopped to pieces, and his wife Isis goes and finds every missing part. Every piece except for one piece. And that one piece becomes mythically large. A god reassembled but incomplete. Now look at Buggy's power. Buggy with the Chop Chop fruit can survive being chopped up. Buggy can reassemble himself whenever he wants. It's a parody version of Osiris, but that's the thing. Oda hides truth in parody. Buggy is the joke version of a sacred myth, which is exactly how Oda would smuggle an ancient structure into the story without screaming about it. And if you want to get really spicy, this is where your speculation starts to connect. What if Buggy's fruit isn't random? What if that Osiris-style power once belonged to someone tied to preserving history? Someone like Nefertari Lily? Someone who had to scatter something across the world so it couldn't be erased? Like Isis gathering the pieces. Except in One Piece, instead of gathering the pieces, she's scattering them. The Poneglyphs, the fragments of truth, distributed so no single empire can delete history. And then the final piece, the missing piece, One Piece, remains out there. Not just a treasure, but a missing fragment of the sun's true story. And now to take this deeper and tie the whole thing together, like a serpent around the earth. The final war of One Piece is Ra versus Apophis. We can see this through Egyptian mythology. Ra is the sun. Apophis is the serpent that tries to swallow the sun and prevent the dawn, circling the earth. It is said that Apophis can span the world, coil around it, choke it, drink light itself, and stop the morning from coming. And now look at the One Piece world. The red line wraps the planet and divides it. It blocks freedom. It blocks flow. It's soaked in blood. And Emu drinks light. This is the serpent. and the story keeps telling you the same word over and over. Dawn. The Sun God, Nika, the dawn of the world. Luffy's not just a pirate. Now we have the explicit reveal Luffy is tied to Nika, the Sun God. So what is the mythic endgame? The sun must defeat the serpent so that dawn can arrive for everyone. And once you see this, you start noticing the snake imagery everywhere. Reverse Mountain has serpent motifs. Even the Emu lore has this ancient snake monster framing in the world's fairy tales. The story is screaming serpent. So yeah, if you want a final battle prediction that isn't random, here it is. Luffy versus the Red Line is mythically Ra versus Apophis. The sun must break the serpent. So let's lock in the pieces. Oda didn't choose the leaders of Cross Guild randomly. Sobek is the crocodile god, the river of power, predatory protection, control disguised as stability. He doesn't protect Alabasta, he controls its lifeblood. He tries to hijack the country's survival system and become its god. That is Sobek. And Horus is Mihawk. Horus is the Eye, the Watcher of Kings, the one who sees through chaos. Mihawk is literally the world's sharpest gaze. He doesn't chase power, he judges it, and waits, and measures. Horus energy. And now we look at Cross Guild again. The crocodile god, an eye of judgment, and a scarab clown pushing the sun into place. You tell me Oda didn't choose this trio on purpose. Buggy is the reverse fool as well. The fool upright is destiny, trust, beginnings, and a leap into the unknown. And the fool reversed is avoidance, chaos, stumbling into fate while you're trying to escape it. This is Buggy's entire character. He tries to run from it, but the world keeps crowning him anyway. But the fool reversed can still change the world, not by wisdom, but by accident, by being the wild card that breaks the system, a natural part of the natural order, rolling its dung along the floor. And here's my current best guess. I think there's a high probability that Buggy will be seen by the world as the king of the pirates, not because he deserves it, but because it's the funniest possible outcome that also satisfies the myth. The Scarab gets the credit for the dawn, even though it never created the sun. And Luffy ascends beyond Pirate King into the role of the sun itself. Nika, Ra, the perpetual dawn. Not a ruler on a throne, but a force that changes the world structure. This is why the story is obsessed with liberation, laughter, and mourning. Buggy gets the title, Luffy becomes the light, and the serpent, the red line, finally gets broken. And the reason it matters is because ancient mythology is a language. Oda uses this like a blueprint. He scrambles it, parodies it, hides it behind clowns and crocodiles and swordsmen. But the structure is still there. A scarab pushing the sun, and the sun battling the serpent, and the world reaching dawn. Oda doesn't hide truth behind seriousness, he pushes it in our face, right under our nose. So yeah, Buggy's a dung beetle.